Okay, I'm live. Sorry, I put a message on the Discord saying that I'm going live now, with the assumption that by the time people have read the message, I would have started up Streamlabs and be streaming. It had an update queued and had to download like, I think it was like 612 different files, so I got delayed by a couple of minutes there. Hello, Kebabic Kid. So it'll take me a few seconds to read your username there. So I'm just going to give it a few seconds because I'm going to show a few new features off immediately, and I don't want people to miss out or have to keep repeating the same stuff that other people have seen. So I'll wait here. Let's say we've been streaming a minute. I'll wait till about the 3-minute mark. So in that time, I'll just talk about what I've been working on, and then I'll actually show it. Hopefully, by the time people are showing up. So I took a chance yesterday. Oh, you're married. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, well done on your unofficial record. It's hard for me to say it's official because I've got no idea what other people have found, discovered. But yeah, I know you've been working hard on trying to beat that record. So yeah, 1 mile is wider than what I've ever seen in the game. The widest I've seen is 0.9 of a mile. And with the wind speeds as well, I think you were pushing those up past anything I'd seen. So well done on that. There is a way to do leaderboards on Steam. So I'm hoping to get it implemented sometime over the next few weeks, so that people can compete. It'll add an extra element of gameplay, so then you're not just playing against yourself. Even though it's not multiplayer, you're still competing against other people, if that makes sense. Hello, Liminal Storms. Hey, your username could actually be like the spin-off for this. People keep saying the game has liminal horror vibes. So, if for whatever reason I can never not allowed to use the name Tornado Research and Rescue, maybe I could rebrand as Liminal Storms. So yeah, things I've been working on. So I took a chance yesterday and I downloaded a bunch of reference images. So this is scary in a way of what AI is becoming capable of. I downloaded a bunch of reference images of multi-vortex tornadoes, and then said to Codex, look at these, look at what I've already implemented myself for how we render tornadoes, and figure out how to render multi-vortex tornadoes. And then it made an attempt, and it didn't look great, so then I took a screenshot, put a screenshot in the folder, and said, this is what it looks like, that's not what it's meant to look like. It then iterated again and got something that looked much closer. I then give it a few tweaks, and that's when I started posting the videos last night. But the fact I could just give it some images, say look at my code, make my tornadoes in the game multi-vortex, and I just did it. It did take about an hour or so of back and forth, but compared to probably the weeks or months it would have taken me to do that with the few hours I have every evening, it's just amazing the amount of time was saved. So I'm going to show them off tonight. So there's a few features I've added, and I haven't actually tested them yet, so we'll be seeing them for the first time live on stream. So people were mentioning, and I think they're definitely right in this, that with multi-vortex tornadoes, you don't usually have a main funnel and then the sub-vortices orbiting around. Usually the main funnel's kind of lifted off the ground a bit and kind of rounded, and then you have the sub-vortices going around that. So I have asked it, when it transitions into multi-vortex mode, because it doesn't become multi-vortex until it's randomized, so some tornadoes just won't be regardless of strength, so it needs to both be randomized as a multi-vortex potential tornado and reach the strength, which I think is F5, to have multiple vortices. So once it does that, it'll start transitioning by rounding out the bottom of the funnel and raising it off the ground a bit, and then we'll start seeing the additional vortices orbit around. I think it's anywhere from 2 to 5 up to a maximum of 6 sub-vortices can rotate around. I've also adjusted the probabilities for career mode. I realized that so in sandbox mode you can drag the sliders way up to max. The probability of that happening in career mode was something like 0.02%. So to balance it, I said, okay, make the probability of the absolute highest possible chase scenario be 1%, and then kind of recurve everything so that we've got a nice smooth probability distribution. So I've done that, and then I've now changed it, so instead of having EHI, because for the hardcore weather fans, you know what EHI is, But for a lot of people, they may not know, or they may be aware of EHI, but not know exactly what it means. So now what it's just going to tell you is this chase is in the top 2% of chases. So if you have something that says it's in the top 50% of chases, it means 50% of chases will be more intense, 50% of chases will be less intense. So you know you've got a rare day when it says this is the top 1%, top 2% of chases. I haven't tested that yet though. So I've also changed that. I've also changed. Right, let me pull up my Git log. I've changed a lot since the last stream. Let me pull that up here. Oh, not in the thing. Right. So when was the last one? So better laptop. Okay, I think that was when I pushed the last update. So I've changed the default zoom level for the map. I can't remember if that was wrapped into the last update or not. But yeah, when you spawn into the game, the map will just be zoomed in a bit more. Just makes things a bit nicer. Oh yeah, multipliers are displayed. Yeah, that was in the last update. Sorry. Updated icon. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So new thing. So I did my last stream, and tornadoes kept going off the edge of the map. So now what they do is they'll target the middle of the map. So if this rectangle says the map, wherever they spawn, it'll spawn somewhere. So say it spawns here, where the word spawn is. We'll then have like a middle section of the map. It'll pick a random point in there and say move towards that point initially. It can still wobble and go all over the place, but what it means is it's not going to spawn here and then immediately go off the edge of the map, which was so happened, was it 3, 4, 5 times in a row? Just completely ruined the game. So that's fixed. I realized when you transition inside the truck, the glass was actually stopping the dust from rendering. So I fixed that just so that looked better. There's also a moonwalking bug, so if you opened any sort of menu or UI while you're standing still, you'd start moonwalking in some random direction. And I fixed that. Wobbly noodles, that was the multi-vortex stuff, I think. Oh no, what that was is the tornadoes now aren't just straight up and down, they can actually wobble with a random offset. So they look a lot more dynamic and lifelike now. I don't know why that's them. Multipliers displayed. I'd already done that. I don't know why these have gone out of. Yeah, I don't know why these are out of order. Well, what's happened? Sorry, one sec. Something's gone weird with my terminal. Um, yeah. Yeah. So wobbly noodles. That was would make the tornadoes wobble. Then there's some multi-vortex things I was doing. I've added this experimental main vortex lifting before multi-vortex. I don't know what that looks like yet, so we'll all see that for the first time here. And then I've also fixed some of the spawn offsets, so now you spawn in the middle of the map, not like the same tile. And you also spawn in the middle of the tile, so you should almost always land on a road when you spawn in, unless you spawn into the middle of a cornfield or just a blank tile. Um, but I noticed in some cases, if you spawn on top of the hill tile, you'd end up in a ditch. If you spawned on top of a motorway tile, you'd get trapped underneath the motorway. And if you're on a blank tile, you could have, since we've spawned random objects on the map, you could like be spawned like in the middle of a wind turbine or on top of a tractor. So I just added a little offset to certain tiles so you don't spawn on top of things. So I fixed that. So let's stop talking about it and actually show it. So career mode, let's just take a look at what it shows up here. And I've tweaked the probabilities as well, yeah. So you're more likely. So see here, top 59% of chases. So this would be a pretty average chase. So yeah, we can see what it's saying there. But I think the thing everybody's dying for is this multi-vortex. So let's just generate a map. Sorry, I'll catch up with the chat. I had a 1.2 mile tornado but didn't take a picture. If you work on mod support, will it be possible? Yeah, well, I guess it's that rule to pick, so it didn't happen. If you work on mod support, will it be possible for cars from the 2023 version to work in the latest version? Ooh, that might be hard. I can't really answer anything about that yet. I haven't figured out how mod support's going to work. Maybe what I can do is create like a tool which you can convert. So rather than making the game backwards compatible with 2023 mods, have a tool which lets you convert the 2023 mods to the 2025 version. I don't know, have a think about that. Why did you stop working on the old version of the game? This game based a bit on the movie Twister. So the original version was actually the original name of the game was Twister Research and Rescue. Then somebody pointed out that I might get sued since it kind of looks, with the yellow truck, it kind of looks like I'm positioning it as a official like Twister video game, which obviously I don't have the licensing or rights to. So that's why I changed the name to Tornado Research and Rescue. And yes, it is based off Twister. The volumetric rendering, I'm using the similar techniques to what they did for the original Twister movie. I used the F5 from Twister as like my reference for when creating the tornadoes, and obviously the yellow truck. I'm not going to call it a Jeep because technically it's not. The yellow truck is a shout out to Twister, and also the gameplay loop. Twister's my all-time favorite movie, so yes, the game's very inspired by Twister. Why did I stop working on it? There was multiple things at once. I started working on multiplayer and managed to break the project. I was right around the time of my PhD where I had to write up my thesis, and probably the biggest thing is I'd started a medication, which, looking back now, it didn't work well for me. I had far more side effects than what was actually benefiting me. So yeah, I think I lost almost a year of development thanks to that. So yeah, it was just life circumstances and unfortunate things which happened all around the same time. I ended up making like a little demo game, and I read the book The Cuckoo's Egg, which is about essentially somebody's university network gets hacked, and they've got like the internet usage mismatches by like 50 cents, so somebody looks into it and they end up like tracking down this Russian hacker. This was before the internet, this was in the ARPANET era, and so I made a whole game based on hacking in like the 80s and the ARPANET era and like the pre-internet era, and so I did that instead, and then I found it really difficult to get back into working on the game. But yeah, this new version, I decided I learned a lot from both the ARPANET game and the original Twister Tornado Research and Rescue. So I decided, you know what, I can do this better. Let's just start from fresh. So that's what I did. Right. Let's find ourselves some multi-vortex tornadoes. So let's just go Ultra. Hopefully the spawn logic works. See there? So since I added the random offset, rather than spawning in that wind turbine, we'll just spawn next to it. Also, look, when I hit like tab, I won't be moonwalking. And I can like configure the probe and won't be moonwalking, so that's a key thing. Yeah, let's just go north, and we should end up on... What do you think about Outbreak? So I think... I really like Outbreak. I think it's an excellent game. I think technically what they've achieved is really difficult, and I'm really impressed with what they do. And for me, living in England, Outbreak's the closest thing I can do to actually practicing like actual like storm chasing techniques and viewing radar and like interpreting radar and forecasting. So a lot of everything I read is like in books, online, watching YouTube videos, and never really put it into practice. So I think it's excellent for that. It's excellent in terms of the realism. I think one of the downsides of Outbreak is just to do a single chase, you need to dedicate like at least an hour and a half to it. And sometimes you get the bad scenarios, so you could spend like 40 minutes on like a day that's a bust. So for someone like me who works and then has 2 or 3 hours in an evening, I don't want to risk spending an hour of that on a chase which might be really boring or which might be a bust. So that's why I think where my game kind of fills a gap in the market. Oh, we're getting a tornado already. Where it fills that gap in the market is that you can just jump in and play. It's not realistic. I try and make it realistic where I can, but it's not an outright realistic game. It's not marketed on its realism. Right, I'm just going to move away so we don't have any of the text here. And it's more arcadey and action focused. It's focused on just getting you into the fun as quick as possible. And so that's where I kind of feel this game fits in. So if you look at this, there'll be more motion in the funnel. See how it's bending. We've got this curve here. And it's curved out. It'll change randomly over time. Now what we want to see is what does this look like when it switches into multi-vortex mode. All of you are seeing this at the exact same time as me. Where am I? Yeah, I should probably move, but I also don't want to miss it going into multi-vortex mode. So let me just... Oh yeah, look. Okay. Right, I think it transitioned there a bit too quick. What do you think? It transitioned a bit too quickly, and that bottom's still not rounded enough. Let me try and get to a good viewing distance. I'm just trying to get out of this dust, so we can get a better view. So, what do you think it needs to look right? That doesn't look quite multi-vortex to me. I think it needs to be more done by density that tapers off. You guys are making me like it. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. We put a lot of effort into the UI and just trying to polish just every little thing which annoys me. I try and make a mental note of and try and fix it in the game. Like tonight was all about, before starting the stream, was all about fixing the little things which I noticed in the game, which just kind of make the gameplay of that little bit more frustrating, and I'm just kind of polishing them out. And UI was one of those things. Right, that still doesn't quite look multi-vortex to me. What do you guys think? What does it need? What's it missing? Hello, Rainbow's here. Okay, I can't quite. I can't quite read everything out that they said, but take it. Rainbow doesn't like Outbreak. So I did specifically instruct Codex to put the sub-vortices like on the radius of maximum wind. Yes, the sub-vortices do have their own winds. I mean to add a noise thing and just generally make the bottom of the funnel look scuddy. Yeah, I think it needs, rather than saying make the bottom of the funnel higher, what I need to do is add more pockets of low density in there. So I think the height is fine, it just needs more pockets of low density, and I also think the subvorts need to be moved in, just like maybe half the, or I guess half the width, so the radius needs to be moved in again. Those more transparent condensation funnel. So yeah, I think what we'll do, let's hide the UI, let's get to a good distance. I need to get a good screenshot to show Codex. I do like that though. It's like a squid. What's that genre of horror for like months? You know, it's like, oh, it's so and so horror. It's like named after a person for like just like creatures which you aren't human-like. I forget the term. It's almost like that. Right. All we need to do. Right, I'm gonna take a screenshot because it's useful to give Codex reference images. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quit out of the game. We're gonna get this right tonight. Okay. All right. So first, I'm gonna open Paint. Lovecraftian, that's the one. Thank you. I could not think of the term for the life of me there. Right, these are some test images from last night. Right, we're going to prompt Codex to get this right. But that's still lovely. That I still really like that. It's not 100%, but even 90% right is amazing. Right. Where is my Codex? Right, we're going to go back to the multi-vortex chat. Oh, better do a commit. By the way, just a handy hint. For anyone working on any code, learn to use Git. It's not a negotiable. If you want to work as a software engineer, you have to know Git. But even for your personal projects, just learn to use it. It makes your life so much easier. So because I can just completely mess it up and then revert back to any point in history, makes things much easier. So career mode percentiles. It's just good to commit any changes before you start making other changes. So I was happy with the career mode, uh, but we need to sort the multi-vortex. Let's push this, and I push it to a remote repo, so my laptop can explode. And yes, it would be annoying, but I can still eventually recover everything. Here's for, can you take a look at tornado? Right, this is the one with multi-vortex. Take another look at debug.png. It is almost there. However, I think instead of pushing the bottom of the funnel up, revert that specific logic and instead start to create pockets of low density. I just multiply density by the noise, by the sample noise at that position and lerp, so less density exists near the ground up to the point where the funnel becomes normal again. The height you already used for the cutoff from the ground was fine. Also, move subvortices closer to the center by about their radius. I say roughly to the center, and hopefully that prompt makes sense. Feel free to ask clarifying questions. This is a useful prompt thing. Right, sorry, I'll catch up on the chat now. Out of curiosity, Rainbow, what is it that you don't like about Outbreak? Ah, the right edge should be on. Ah, that's interesting. You've always got these nuggets of interesting things, facts about tornadoes and the structure, which I just didn't know about. Oh, sorry, is this just a black screen? Sorry, 1 second. Nobody can even see what I'm talking about, man. Screen capture, capture the screen. Sorry, I thought everybody could see the editor and everything that I was typing. Sorry, I just looked at the preview there and realized. Right, you should see in the next couple of seconds me actually interacting with codecs. It's had better. It's had better graphics. Yeah, better graphics is a difficult one because that's very broad. We're talking higher res textures. We're talking models with more tries. Or we're talking better post processing, supporting higher resolution screens. We're talking more special effects. That's difficult. It's a difficult one, but I know what you mean. I'm always trying to improve the graphics. Yeah. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is work on the scenario editor. So essentially, what I'll probably do is use the Moore 1999, the May 3rd 1999 tornado as an example and show how you take like a real world scenario and create a scenario from it just using the CSV file. So you can use Excel to edit it if you've got Excel. Otherwise, you can just edit CSVs in a text editor. It's not that difficult. Um, it Excel does make it a lot easier. And then show how you do that. Essentially, it'll just be you put a timestamp and a value in whichever column you want it to be at that point in time, and it'll just lerp between those values. Like the best way to describe it is to, it's like there are people who completely have zero idea how to storm chase or what tornadoes or anything. There's zero passion for the idea of storm chase, and they just love the idea of being interested. Oh well, I do know Mark does actually storm chases in Canada. Um, there's corporate slop over in the community, and that's instantly because it's an indie game. Even though technology is just a rip of WRF, um, but ported into Unity with a few changes and runs at such a high res that it doesn't look anything like real life. The visuals look worse than Half-Life 2 from 2004. think of one positive thing about Outbreak. Uh, well, thanks. I'm glad you don't feel that way about about tornado research and rescue. Um, or if you do, you keep it very well hidden on the on the live streams. Um, yeah, I feel like what they've accomplished in terms of storm chasing simulation is brilliant. I feel in terms of gameplay experience, it does feel a bit not lacking, but it's a bit hit and miss. There's been some chases I've genuinely enjoyed, but in terms of a gaming experience, it does seem like it is a lot of waiting around for something to happen. I've heard the geometric bottom lift of the shader. The main funnel now keeps its normal radius to the ground, but during multiplex transition, it gets low level noise pocket density. Okay, how is the time for this transition into multivortex mode determined? Please, can you randomize it from between, let's say, 15 to 45 seconds, let's just say. Hundreds of meters of just pure blob, and they've such an asshole arrogant ego about it. Seriously, the biggest achievement is spending years on a map that literally looks like Roblox. The games have similar map size and to more natural and better. That's on Roblox. Yeah, I guess one of the benefits Roblox does have is, I guess, a lower barrier to entry because it's free, and I guess anyone can contribute to it. So you've got lots of very dedicated people who work in teams on it. But I know what you mean. If with for the price that they're charging and for the claims that they're making, they need to kind of back that up with actual gameplay and visuals. Whoa, I've just suddenly got really hungry. I don't think I've got any snacks up here. I reckon by saying things like vortex dynamics aren't important. Yeah, because for me, like I say, I'm not trying to claim to be like a realistic game. Um, well, I do add in realism. Like, say, you sent me your Lua scripts for the main funnel, like motion and all like the like I said, not is it fluid dynamics? I guess technically it is, but you know what I mean. You sent me like very realistic code, which I ported over into C sharp and added to the game. So I do add realism, but I don't claim this is the most realistic experience you'll get. What I'm trying to say is this is going to be the most fun experience you'll have. That's what I'm aiming for. Going to be fun. I'm going to try and make it look as good as I possibly can. Like, I'm not a graphics artist. I'm not a VFX artist, so I'm learning as I'm going. But I think I'm doing a lot better than the 2023 version. Um, and then there will be like these little realistic things here and there when I'm able to. Speaking of realism, I saw a video and it had a close up of Gary England's screen with radar on. And I thought, ooh, that would actually be a good reference image for designing more UI things. Done before the change, transition time is controlled by mixed move towards rates, 0.08, and then sub vortices. Okay. Okay, so it's done that. We'll do another build. We'll see. This is the thing which takes a while. It's not the I found the thing which takes the longest in the game is tweaking things, whether it's getting the progression balance right or getting the visuals just right and figuring out all these. You have lots of things you can adjust, like how long does it take to transition to multi-vortex? How far above the ground should the funnel disappear? What density should it go to? How quickly should it ramp up or ramp down in terms of density? Like all these things, just you've got to change them, restart the game, try it again, and it just takes a long time. You put 50 hours into Outbreak 2. Officially, it's only reflects real storm chasing by how long you spend. Yeah, I guess it reflected the realism of you spend a lot of time and don't see a whole lot. It can capture the disappointment to some degree. I guess one thing then again though, because it does that, when you do have like a big tornado on the map, it does feel really exciting as well. There's that contrast and that payoff. But I feel like it's more miss than hit, if that makes sense. Yeah, one thing I'd say with Outbreak, the price tag is quite high. One thing is with them having a publisher, I don't know how much they say they have over the price. Did I just did I just rebuild there? I can't remember whether I triggered a build or whether that's an old message. 2114. Yeah, no, that's an old message. Let's rebuild. It'd be a bigger payoff if I had better visuals. Yeah, that's one of the things where when I'm trying to promote my game is that the reward for all of this is seeing a cool tornado. So if you work really hard to like forecast position, get a good intercept point, you need to be rewarded by that with at least decent visuals. No, tornado outbreak. No, I'm not familiar with tornado outbreak. Except for tornado mesh, if it was a volumetric cloud shader instead. I remember the good old days of 2010 game and even pre-2010 gaming. The frustration of trying to just get a basic tornado working in Gary's mod. I don't know if I've mentioned it recently. I did work with Mark on a storm chasing game way back in like I can't remember what year it was, 2009, 2010 maybe. It might have even been earlier than that. Um, it was so long ago that our primary form of communication was MSN Messenger. It was if you search for Vegeta 5 followed by Mark's name, you might be able to find the old forum we had. I can't remember what game engine we used. It was it had the very basics. It would spawn random tornadoes, which would move in a random direction. I remember adding a thing where you could hit enter and the car would like drop like a cylinder, and you'd have to try and drop them in the path of the tornado. And I didn't know how to create roads or anything, so I just had like a green like texture which I'd add black rectangles to. Um, yeah, that was a while ago, but I did actually work with Mark on a very early version of. I guess it wouldn't eventually become Outbreak because Outbreak's a completely different project, but I worked with them on a tornado chasing game all the way back then. I've got no idea if any copies of it exist anywhere. I may have like an old hard drive at my parents' house somewhere, assuming my dad hasn't overwritten and used the hard drive for his own stuff. Um, if I ever do find it, I guess I can share it to show how much things have changed since like when was it? I think it might be in 2008, 2009, around then. Um, but yeah, I did work with Mark on a storm chasing game way back when. No, Jennifer, yeah, I thank for sharing your opinion. Like I say, it did have mixed reviews initially on launch, and I did originally refund the game, because there were a lot of issues playing it. Then I think within the first week they were like patching it like mad. So then I did buy it again. Um, I have had fun with it. Like the thing which made it really good is I joined. There's a group of people had a private Discord, and they figured out, mapped out like every scenario, and they helped me level up and get the Dominator really quick. It was really fun chasing with people who would like create a plan for each scenario, and would like map it out and record each one, and have like reference radar images. So based on the initial radar of the day, like I think playing with other people is where it really had extra value. But yeah, I know what you mean. Maybe overselling it as I guess technically they are the most realistic. Um, they are the most realistic storm chasing game available by definition, because the other storm chasing games don't push realism. All right, we've got. Got our tornado touching down now. So hopefully we've got a good view of it. These solar panels are kind of in the way. So if I'm a bit fiddly with the keys, I worked from home today, so I've got my mechanical keyboard. So it's just a little bit different. Yeah, you can see there's some more motion in the funnel now. So let's watch it hopefully transition into a multi-vortex tornado. Let me just pan this map. Where are we relative to? Okay, it is moving away from us. Maybe we'll try and keep up with it, and I'll try and keep the camera on. We'll head south, and then we'll head east, and then we'll be... We've kind of got this road will take us following. Yeah, my... Oh, it's sandbox mode, so I don't need to worry too much about all these injuries and fatalities. Because it doesn't really do anything, oops, in sandbox mode. Just when it transitions into multi-vortex mode, I don't want to miss that. Right, so we'll get here, we'll turn left, and we'll just follow the road, and I'll just keep my speed up while keeping the camera pointed at it. See, oh, it looks like it's transitioned into multi-vortex mode, but the bottom of the funnel's still very much visible. It hasn't ramped down the density at all. Or has it? I feel like I could see through it briefly there. Whatever it's done to ramp down the density, it's not strong enough. Right, we'll take another reference picture and we'll go do another build. Gonna get this right, because if I can get this right, I can push the update tonight. And everyone can have these. Oh, hello Lucy Lou. Oh, sorry. I just noticed your comment there and you already have to go. Sorry about that. Every time you be a multi-vortex would have the vortices hidden underneath the funnel. Oh yeah, that could also work as well, and then just depend on how much density gets carved away. Right, let's get a good screenshot here. Let's wait till I want to be able to see a gap between the main funnel. Right, I'm going to send another reference image to Codex. We're going to get this right. We're going to get this right. So MS Paint. Sorry about before. I thought everybody could see my screen. I didn't realize I'd chosen share window instead of share screen. So once I closed the game, it didn't actually show anything. Right, debug, delete. Oops. Right. Paste. Save. All right. I'll close this. Take a look at debug.png again. There is nowhere near enough density carved away. Looks good, insane progress. Thank you, Lucy Lou. Yeah, I see what you mean, Rainbow. You can do the um, essentially have it always be multi-vortex and just kind of randomize what's visible, how visible the vortices are, and how much the bottom of the funnel's cut away, and then naturally have so much just happen to not look multi-vortex, even though under the hood they really are. But consider horizontal vortices. Yes, I was actually thinking of possibly trying it tonight, but then I thought I'd end up experimenting with them so long I wouldn't have time to do a live stream. Yeah, that makes sense. Remember, I probably won't try and implement that tonight, but once we've got the visual down right, then like kind of like the wiring and what goes on behind the scenes can be cleaned up a bit. Yeah, this is Codex. So at work we have a Claude subscription by Anthropic, but I didn't realize with my personal ChatGPT monthly subscription you get Codex as well. So this has probably sped up my development speed by like a factor of 10 or 20, if not more. Cover much more of the funnel density. Okay, hopefully that's better. Right, why? What did it change? Because the good thing if it changes only the shader. Actually, what we could do. No, it's going to increase this iteration speed quicker. Run it in the editor. Give Codex specific instructions to only change the compute shader, because then we don't have to restart the game. We'll instantly see the effect it has. So let's do that. I'm hungry. Well, my appetite just come out of nowhere. This is more important. I can always eat later. Yeah, no, I don't need a better PC. I bought this. It's a gaming laptop, but it's good for development. It's much better than the old laptop I was using to develop. What's it called? 2023 version on. It's got an i9 processor. I think. I'm not sure what the speed max is out at. I think it can push. I think you can push it up to near 5 gigahertz. It's 4.5 gigahertz right now. Alright, let's just make this a bit bigger because I know the YouTube compression will probably kill what it looks like. Let's take a look at velocity. Specs, yeah, so i9, it's 13th gen, so I think it's a little bit old, but not too bad. And then it's got it's an RTX, I forget, I think it's a 4070 mobile, I forget what I've got. Yeah, 4070 mobile RTX, so yeah, actually, back in the Storm Chasers days, I bought a custom built PC from PC Specialist, specifically for Storm Chasers. And I even upgraded the graphics card to an RTX 2080, I think I've got in there. And my laptop that I bought since is actually better, so it's sitting on my desk literally gathering dust. But I don't have the heart to get rid of it. It's useful to have like a backup PC just in case anything ever happens to my laptop. Right, wherever this is developing, it's developing really close to us. We might actually want a bit of distance. Where is it? Right, let's just head east. I'm actually going to want to have a bit of distance so we can see the tornado. Come on. Just waiting for the tornado to come down. It looks like it's just starting to come down now. Right. Oh, I don't want to get too close to the cornfield because that's going to get in the way of what we can see. Has it been up for 4 days? What's my uptime? Oh yeah, it has. Oh no, 4. Oh yeah, no, yeah, 4 days. That's because it goes into hibernate and doesn't power down. Can't remember, did this come with 8 gig or 16 gig? Because I'm not going to check because it's 20. Oh, there's a hill in the way. There's a hill. I don't want to miss the transition to MULTIVORTEX because of a hill. See how there's much more curvature to it now and motion in the funnel. Gonna hop out. Come on, this time, come on. Give us a proper multi-vortex this time, please. Right, I'm just gonna turn velocity off, so it doesn't look like it's quite gone multi-vortex yet, but it could any second. No, now look, it's gonna be a non-multi-vortex one. No, it's got sub-vortices. It should transition to it any second now. But not quite. Oh wait, it's starting to. We can see the other ones sticking out, but still not quite. I think it's underestimating how much. Like, since I wrote the shader for this manually without any AI assistance originally, if you want lower density, you really have to ramp it down, like much more than you'd think. So I'm gonna say, right. Oh, I think can you actually? I think I'm gonna check. Can you paste image? I know Claude lets you paste images. No, you can't paste images yet into the thing. Right. I'm gonna keep Paint open so I can keep updating the debug.png. Delete, paste. Right. I am running this in the editor. It is important to only change the compute shader so I don't have to reload the game. Take a look at debug.png. You really need to ramp the density down more. It doesn't even look like density has changed at all. So while that's churning, let's just watch what it does while we're waiting for that. Since we're seeing no change, if the editor sessions... No, no, it's going up. Make the density ramp much more aggressive. No, no. What's the width on this thing? Oh, that's only 0.4 of a mile. Vis okay, what do I need to do? What do I... in editor to trigger the compute shader update? Oh, it already did. It already did. Alright, now I think... Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Look at that. It's a bit too flat now. So all we need is we need that to be far more scuddy. It's too flat right now. Right, so let's update debug.png. Better, but I guess the blank area could do with being a bit higher. Twice what is now. It's also too flat. Needs to be much more noisy slash scuddy. Oh, so I realize people can't actually see what I'm typing in here. Oh yeah, take a look at updated. It's map procedural these days. Um, I'm not sure if you're asking Rainbow that or asking me that. If you're asking me, yes, the map is procedural. Okay, so let's say hopefully triggers another update. Ooh, 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 what we're getting here. Nah, still too flat. Better, but I think still too flat. Right, we're getting there. As soon as I've got this, I think what I might do is just push the update. See, updated debug.png. Almost perfect, just needs to be a lot more bumpy, jagged rather than straight line. Yeah. Yeah, good point. However, also, is it a gradient? Should be faded strongest near the ground, eventually getting back to original funnel density specified height. Yes, there's a gradient. Okay. Angular radial lobes plus noise. This is computer shade only as requested. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Ooh. What do you think? Yeah, nay? Definitely a lot better. I think we just need the gradient, just needs to be a bit more apparent now. Right, we're like 99% of the way there. We're like 99% of the way there. Just need the gradient to be a bit more apparent. The scuddy look is nice, but it's like 100% density, then 0% visually. It would have to be a lot of. So we are getting there. That does look multi-vortex, doesn't it? We just need a bit more of a gradient. Give occasional chance for a greenfield style structure where the vortices stretch really far up. Yeah, greenfield. That was like, I don't know if people are familiar with the concept of recursion. That was like recursive subvortices. It was like subvortices and then like subvortices within those subvortices. It was just the most insane visual I've ever seen. Okay, I said the gradient's a bit more. Okay, now it's way too strong again. So, okay, perfect. Right. Let's update debug.png. I think it's always useful to give um, reference. Now it's way too strong. Too strong. Can you find some point in the middle? I guess what we're effectively doing here is a binary search. So we know where it's too strong, we know where it's too weak, so that you then go halfway between those two, and then depending on where it is, you'll search in the other half. It's a standard algorithm binary search. It's like one of the first things you'll learn about if you ever do like a computer science course. Think how long it would have taken if we had to keep. No, I think it's adjusted it wrong the other way. I think I forgot to mention to look at debug.png as well. I think one thing that would help as well if I shrunk this down, so it's not having to read as many pixels. See debug.png. Way too strong. Still, I think we need to use like some sort of logarithmic scale or something here. Sorry, I've lost the window of the chat. Random condensing wind speed thing. No, I've never been to the US to chase. I've been to the US a few times, and once when I was 8 years old, again when I was 14 or 15. So when I was younger, visited a family friend in Utah, in 2008, which is a good time to go from the UK to US because of the financial crisis. It was like $2 to the pound, so essentially had twice the money. This again, I was 14, 15 then. Visit California, and got to visit like San Diego, San Francisco. It was cool, and then I lived there for 2 years from 2013 to 2015 in Nevada, but never to chase tornadoes. Back to act off more aggressively, right? Where are we now? Still not aggressively enough, I don't think. It can sometimes take a little bit of time for changes to come into effect. Right, minimum density, no, that's the problem. There is too much density. I think you should have been adjusting down, not up. Have I been forgetting to say look at debug.png? But yeah, I do really want, that's one of my life's goals is I have to see a real life tornado. I do want to get out in the States and chase. Just the problem is when you have a wife and children, if I have money to go on a storm chase, I also have money to take them to Disneyland or Disney World. So that has to happen before I have money to do that before I go just booking a storm chase for myself. Density flow, right. Density flow lowered. Looks like normal funnel. Should we be moving? Alright, it's a good update. Okay, good. It's right. The question is the editor going to pick up these changes? How do I trigger the editor to know, oh wait, there's been a change? Oh, is it doing it? Is it doing it? Because sometimes it takes some time for the if you've made the density too high, it takes a little bit of time for the existing density to dissipate. Okay, what was it originally when it didn't have enough density? Set it to that again, please. And meantime, we'll keep the editor running just in case there's existing density which hasn't been removed. Oh, you're in Cornwall. Nice. Oh, it's good to have a fellow Brit in the chat. Yeah, I guess we're almost on opposite sides of the country. I'm in Newcastle, if you couldn't tell from the accent. So yeah, quite a distance. Those values were okay. Has it done it? Because it says it's done it, but nothing's changed. Okay, well, I'm starting to see density disappear at the bottom. I don't know if we're just. I think to be safe, what we'll do is we'll just exit out of the editor. We'll start again, give everything a chance to recompile. Let me just open. Sometimes if you don't have Visual Studio open, it's an absolute memory hog, so I don't like opening it. But sometimes that needs to be open to trigger the changes. In your blood, you're British, but you were born in America. Yeah, I feel like I don't know, I feel more drawn towards like America in terms of like the culture and like the landscape, um, rather than British culture. It's like my ideal life would be like working on a farm in Oklahoma and then storm chasing on the weekends or something. Keep horses, learn the banjo. I can't remember if I've mentioned this on the stream. I listened to Foggy Mountain Breakdown, um, and I really want to learn the banjo. Do you watch Doctor Who? I used to when I was younger. Um, the Doctor Who. Let's see. List of Doctor Who actors. The Doctor who was the Doctor Who when I was watching it, was list of actors who played the Doctor. Right. Have it in some sort of chronological order would be useful. Oh, it's Christopher Eccleston. Um, he was who I was used to seeing as Doctor Who. I can't remember which year that was, but yeah, that's when I was into Doctor Who. It's like part of the reason some of the folk music I like. I go through different artists who become like my go-to listen. So for a long time it was James Keelaghan, and then I kind of listened to his music so much that I just kind of needed a change. Not that I didn't like his music anymore, but I listened to it so much I just needed something different. And now I really like Dave Carter and Tracy Grammer. Dave Carter unfortunately tragically died in like 2002, I think it was. But the reason I like his music is he conjures up all the visuals of what I think of when I think of like proper like Midwestern America. He was just extremely talented. So is Tracy Grammer. She still does live streams now. Extremely talented, and just his style of writing lyrics, just so, I don't know. He just captured something about the heart of America, which it's weird. I feel like I can relate to, even though never having lived that life. Just check out his music. The name of the album, which I'd highly recommend to get more of a feel for Dave Carter's lyrics, is as the worked together. Tracy Grammer started performing on more of the albums, but it was primarily him writing the songs. But the name of the album is, what is it? I've only listened to it a million times. It's called When I Go. Just excellent music. Performed brilliantly. Like, what's even cooler is the fact that this was before like digital music editing really became a thing, because we're talking the first album was like 1998, 1999. So like literally that album was like recorded, like several of the songs were just recorded in his kitchen. And it's just like, you can get them on Spotify now, but it's amazing the talent you have to overcome all the technological barriers to still just sound like a proper studio quality album. 2005 was the year. Yeah, that sounds about right. I was in high school. Okay, the tornado's coming down. Let's see how we do with the density now. So I know this hasn't really been chasing, but I think it'll be worth it, because it means I can do a MULTIVORTEX update right after this stream. Right, let's see, is it about to go? Okay, it's F4. Let's just keep watching. It'll do the transition soon enough. I'm scared to open the map in case we miss the transit. Yeah, it's about to transition to MULTIVORTEX. Starting to do it now. I still feel like not enough density is being carved out of the funnel yet. Is it because of the viewing angle or something? One thing we can do, I guess one of the benefits of being in the editor, is I can do this instead, and we can go tornado volume and just zoom in on it. Let's hide all this noise. So it's almost there, but I should have done a commit back when it was looking almost right, because it's almost there, but still not quite. Right, I feel like, right, one thing we can do actually, if you double hit escape, actually let's not do this. Right. None of density. This is more aggressive gradient. Full break widest. I just feel like, yeah, there's not enough breakup on there. If I bring the camera close to the ground, I'll get a screenshot for the debug.png. Look at PNG again. There seems to be too much density, or the gap above the ground isn't big enough. Oh, Thank you. Appreciate you thinking I'm the best streamer. But I do like the reason I like these streams is primarily because of the interaction. um, I guess that's a good thing about having a smaller audience. Uh, it's just right now the stats are saying I've got 6 concurrent viewers, and the chat rate's roughly about 1 message every minute, which is manageable. I mean, you see the chat on some of the bigger streamers. Yeah, you can't really blame them. There's no way they can keep up with that. So I do kind of like the pace that it is right now. One Sharp Ace is leaving work now. I've been watching for some time. I've just purchased this for me today as a surprise. Okay, I hope it lives up to expectations. Like I say, any disappointments, drop it in the Discord in the game suggestions, or mention on a live stream, or just put the message somewhere on the Discord and I'll see it. Like I say, I'm always trying to improve the game. Don't want people leaving disappointed. Yeah, well, thank you, wife, on my behalf. I appreciate deciding to buy the game, and I'm glad she was able to surprise you with it. Well, that looks more like a spider. Right, what is this doing? Just a compute shader only. I treat this as a gap height issue more than a density. No, it's definitely a density flow issue because I wish I'd done the commit. Um, right. No, it was fine when you did the density thing earlier. The gradient just wasn't sharp enough. We'd go out at the top, not in. Have I got that the wrong way around? Is it? I've set it to go in at the top, out at the bottom. Is it the other way around? Actually, that looks quite decent how it is right now. What's it look like in game? I could still do with being a little bit higher. Do you think? Okay, I'll prompt that next. Okay, computer shit. Back to the earlier setup. Okay, let's see. Do we get the stronger gradient now? Okay, I'm preferring that. What we had before. I think we'll just stick with that for now. I don't think we're going to be able to easily, at least in the reasonable amount of time tonight, get that nice gradient. I think having that gap is nice. So I'll just say perfect to codex deep, codex happy. Now the other thing is I said to have the tops of the vortices inside the funnel and the bottom sticking out. Turns out it's the other way around. The bottoms will be close to the RMW, radius of max wind, slash bottom funnel radius, just inside. And the tops will stick out. Also, because we've got something we're happy with, let's remember to do a commit now. I'm going to say almost there with MV. Yeah, remember MV means multi-vortex. It's because the centrifugal forces above the boundary layer pushes them out into tangential velocity above the boundary layer. So almost as if it's like tying string to say like a disc and spinning it. Naturally, the tops of the string are going to want to fan out, and the same way like strings fixed at the base of the disc, you've got the boundary layer where you've got more friction where they're not going to move as fast. One thing I do like about this, it looks more like a creature. Sorry, I'm pointing to this. Um, oh, what happens if I do this? What happens if I put the YouTube screen on YouTube? It reminds me of I won't pull the website up, but if I remember, it's the seven-legged spider um, meme, I guess it was, by 27B/6 back in the day. Kind of reminds me of that. If anyone not familiar with the stories, guy, what was his name? David. I've got one of his books actually on my shelf. Where is it? David Thorne, I think it was. He's a like a graphics designer, and he tried to pay one of his bills by drawing a picture of a spider, but the spider only had seven legs, and that you just have this email correspondence back and forth. Um, my bumps are just inside the parent. Tops move outward. Okay. Did it just change the compute shader? Let's watch. Oh. Give the density some time to settle down since it just changed suddenly. I wouldn't say they are. That's matching. No, they're too far away. Let's see. They are too far away now. Bottom should be inside the bottom of the main funnel. Okay, let's see how this works out. Oops, am I zoomed in too far? Right, it's making the changes. We'll have to give it a second to stabilize. Okay, is it gonna update the compute shader logic? I may need to click into the game. I wonder if I just go to like tornado entity, and that should link to a tornado volume. No, that's the prefab. Where's the tornado volume? Tornado volume, here we go. And what if I just do this? It forces a reload. I think even further away now. Let's try and get it at an angle where it's really obvious that they're too far away. Here we go. Still way too far away. Yeah, the parent radius of... Let's see. Using the... I think it's called funnel bottom... Pardon me? Oh yeah, no, it is using... No, I can see that it is using the bottom radius fraction, so yeah. Because it's putting it at the radius where the winds are calculated, but not necessarily where it's rendered, because the way we render these is you have some outer volume where the winds are, but then we'll carve away density. So where it visually is and where it lives mathematically are different, which is part of the challenge of this. Ooh, we're getting there. We are getting there. Ooh. It just needs to be a little bit further in. Do you reckon? A little bit closer. I just need to get a good angle to show Codex. There, that's a good one. What I say about another diameter's width inward would be about right. Right. See debug.png .png about a diameter's width inward would be almost perfect. I can just tell I'm going to have dreams about this tonight. I don't know if this happens to other people or if it's just an ADHD thing, but if I spend the day fixated on something or doing something repetitively, I end up dreaming about it as well. Which is fine when it's something fun like this, but if I've been doing something boring or repetitive, like either in the house or at work, it's like my time to rest. I end up like reliving it for another 8 hours. Right, let's have a look now. Have we got it? What I'll do, let's bring the tornado a little bit closer. Oh wait, it's coming. It heard me. I was like, let's bring the tornado a little bit closer. It's going to come straight for us now. I think we've got it. I think we've got that. Like you can see them sticking out the top there. I think we've got it. Cracked it. I'm happy with that. Thank you, Rainbow, for your help, and everybody else in the chat who suggested things and directed that. We've got something brilliant here, and you're all the first to witness it first time in the game. Looks alright. Yeah, I guess it's not going to be perfect, but I think a note to end the stream on, I think that's perfect. Let me get a good screenshot here for the update. Let's get one VHS screenshot. Actually, that doesn't look very. I want to be able to see like the separate vortices. There we're good, because now we've got like 3. I'm going to take 1 because that'll just automatically save in my gallery, and then let's drive up to it a bit and get like a full post-processing style one. Let's hide the hood. Now the dust is going to make it a bit more difficult to see. Let's back up a bit. I guess we can perfect these on later streams. I think for now I'm really happy with that. Let's just get a good thing just to... I want to get one which shows... What I'm going to do actually, let's change the field of view. We want it to be narrower. I want grass and stuff in the way. Let's just move somewhere where we don't have so many obstacles in the way. I want to see like the clear segmentation of each subvortex. About there. Right, I think now I do a build. I think we'll do a build and I'll end the stream and I'll push the update for tonight. Okay, whilst in that build, I think I'll wrap up the stream now. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining and interacting. I'll try and do another one of these again soon. Uh, I'll push the update in the next 10 minutes or so, so you'll all be able to experience the multi-vortex tornadoes too. I don't know what career mode's going to be like, but if anything, it'll be more intense than previous streams and previous gameplay. So enjoy. I'm going to sign out now and get this update ready.